Today I am going to be doing the Girl Scout cookie tag. I was tagged in this tag by Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction quite a while ago, but I'm getting caught up today. This tag was originally created by Melinda at A Web of Stories. I will leave her link down below and you can go over there and get all the questions. That's how Nicole did it on hers. So I'm just kind of gonna continue on that tradition and take us all back to the original poster and the original creator of the tag for the questions. Okay. So I didn't grow up a Girl Scout. I grew up in Campfire Boys and Girls Club. I also don't really buy Girl Scout cookies, and it's definitely not the season for them here. I don't see anyone out there selling them. So I went to Dollar General and I picked up 3 kinds of cookies that I think are like Girl Scout cookie knockoffs. Okay, so we have fudge peanut butter and coconut fudge caramel and fudge mint. Okay, so we are gonna try those when it comes time to talk about those ones and see. Well, I don't have anything to compare them to because, like I said, I don't buy Girl Scout cookies, but we'll try the DG brands and see if they're good or not. All right, so there are 8 prompts, 7 questions, and the last one is a tag prompt. So let's just get right going on this one. So the first one is Trefoils, which is a classic novel you love. Okay, so I had to look up Trefoils. First I had to look up Trefoils so I could learn how to pronounce it. There seems to be some debate out there whether it is Trefoils or Trefoils, but a video that the Girl Scout people made, they are pronouncing it Trefoils. I will actually leave a link to that because I went on this whole rabbit trail of watching how they were made and how they are stamped and this whole thing. So you guys can watch that if you want to. I'll put the link down. But basically Trefoils are a shortbread cookie with the stamp of the Girl Scout logo in it. So it's kind of like the classic cookie. Okay, so we're talking about a classic book that I love. All right, so my book choice for classic would be Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. It tells the coming of age story of Pip and his dealings with Miss Havisham and Estella, and just kind of, it starts out when he's little and it's over when he's big. So it's a story about him growing up and just some of the stuff he goes through, but it's a good story. I really, really love this one and I haven't read it for a long time, so maybe I should put it on my list for this fall. I always read, I do my rereads and my classic reads usually in the fall and winter because they're cozy and nostalgic, right? And that time of year is cozy and nostalgic. All right, number 2, Lemon Ups. So I had to look up Lemon Ups also. I did not know what those are. Apparently they are kind of like a lemony shortbread with like a motivational quote on them. So they're supposed to cheer you up or get your, pep up. I don't know. Anyway, Lemon Ups. So the prompt for that one is a book you find inspiring. So that would be Mother Culture by Karen Andriola. Karen Andriola is kind of like a grandmother in the homeschool movement, okay? So she put together quite a bit of curriculum and just, I don't know, just writings about, I guess wouldn't be a better word, about the Charlotte Mason method of schooling. So Charlotte Mason was a person who lived in England in the 1800s, and she had a school in maybe early 1900s, I don't know, a long time ago. And she had a school and she had a method of teaching. And so Karen Andriola, kind of researched that. I think she even lived in England for a little while she was doing this. And she brought it back to the States and taught all of us homeschooling moms about the Charlotte Mason method. It involves a lot of reading and just recitation back. So my kid would read something and then they would come to me and tell me what they read, narrate it, right? So Mother Culture, this book, I kind of already did this stuff that she talks about in the story, but it just reaffirmed it for me that yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you need permission to do the obvious things. I don't know why, but basically her whole idea in this book is that mothers are more than just the entertainment for their children for 20 years, right? And for homeschool moms, like a lot of homeschool moms are very focused on raising their children up to learn stuff, right? And so pouring in knowledge and resources into your kid, making sure that they, are exposed to a wide range of interesting things, and maybe they're taking classes, and maybe they're learning this, craft and this skill and this sport and this, whatever, hobbies and interests and recreation and all these sorts of things. A lot of moms are very focused on doing that for their kids at the expense of their own hobbies and interests and recreation, right? And so this book just encourages a mom to weave those things in, right? So make sure that you are learning and growing and finding interesting things to do as well, and not giving those things up so you can be a mom, right? You should be able to do those things alongside your children doing those things. It helps your kids see the importance of lifelong learning, and just the respecting mom's time, right? So if I'm sitting reading my book or writing a book, or maybe I'm painting, or maybe I'm sculpting something, or whatever it is that I'm doing, maybe I'm making a booktube video, my kids know that that is my time to do something that feeds me and my own interests and my own need to be creative, and teaching them to respect that time just as I give them their time to do the same thing, right? So anyway, this is just such a fantastic book. Even if you're not a homeschooler, it just is such an encouraging book for women. It's written to women, but just to go out and learn stuff, see stuff, explore stuff, take a sketch pad and some colored pencils and go sit by the creek and, sketch something and just absorb, the opportunities for learning that are all around you. Maybe you live in a city and you can just, museum hop or bookshop hop or whatever. It's an encouraging book. So if you can get a hold of it, I would look it up, or even just search that term online, mother culture. You'll probably find some stuff that will really encourage you. I actually work mother culture into my homeschool schedule. There is a set aside time that everybody just goes and does their own thing. In fact, most of our days, we just got to do our own thing, but we're all pursuing our own interests. And anyway, this isn't a homeschooling speech, but there you go. Okay, number 3. This is S'mores, a comforting book. So I've never seen s'mores cookies, but I can use my imagination, of what they have in them. And so a comforting book, supposed to comfort you like s'mores. That would be Pride and Prejudice for me. I have read Pride and Prejudice so many times, and it's just one of those things that it's a fallback book, right? If I don't know what to read, I grab Pride and Prejudice. If I'm feeling in a slump, I grab Pride and Prejudice. When I lost my dad a couple of years ago, I was just in such a reading slump. I couldn't just focus on anything, and I wasn't interested in anything, and I just was just bummed, right? Because I was mourning. And so I grabbed Pride and Prejudice and I just slowly read through it, and it brought me comfort. It did. A lot of my trips to England over the years have involved Jane Austen-ish sort of things. And so when I read, her works, I'm just transported back to some of the places that I've been and things that I've seen, and just that, amazing trips that I've had over to England, to Bath and to Winchester and to her home in Chawton. And I don't know, it just brings me comfort and peace. I really love Pride and Prejudice. I love all her works. And I would say that I hop around on which one is my favorite, but that's definitely my comfort one. All right, number 4, Adventurefuls. Okay, I just feel like that's such a stretch on a name. I'm sorry if you're a Girl Scout, but come on. All right, so Adventurefuls are caramel cream filled brownie cookies. Okay, so it's a round cookie that's tastes like a brownie, but it's a cookie, and then you fill it with caramel cream, and it has a little chocolate duty-gutty thing on the top of it. And they're called Adventurefuls. So, an adventurous book. Now, I don't really read adventure stories. I don't read, fantasy and sci-fi, and I just don't read adventure things. But I guess the most adventurous that I probably get are things every now and then I get this weird craving to read a Dan Brown. And that's so not in my genre, package at all. And they're just they're so ridiculous. But every now and then I just want to read that. Or Brad Meltzer, just these political mystery kind of thriller sort of stories. Those are adventurous in my opinion. They're kind of as nerdy as the name of that cookie, but that's my answer for that one. All right, number 5, Samoas. So Samoas, oh, I have Samoas. I have coconut fudge caramel. Okay, so we're gonna try this. These are made by Clover Valley. You can find them at Dollar General. I don't know if they're awesome. We will see. Like I said, I have nothing to compare it to, but I can't remember. Kind of remember. Maybe my Grammy had these. Maybe my aunt would buy these. Anyway, I think that it's a shortbread cookie with caramel, and then it's like toasted coconut. It's got chocolate on the bottom, and then chocolate across the top. That's good. It's kind of buttery and sweet. It doesn't taste chocolatey, but it's good. All right, Samoas are a book that blends 2 or more genres. Tricky because this blends like 4 flavors. Okay, that one I picked A Fasting Girl by Michelle Stacy. So A Fasting Girl has mystery, it has history, it has science, it has like a biography, and it tells the story of Molly Fancher, who is one of the fasting girls of the Victorian era, but then it also talks about other fasting girls and fasting people and that kind of stuff. I've read this book several times. I don't know what it is that fascinates me about this book. The last time I read it, I was more bored with it than I've been in previous readings. The first time I read this, I was like, I don't know, mid to late 20s, and I believed it. I thought she really could fast all those years, and I'm like, how did that happen? I was kind of late to be that naive, but I apologize to any late 20s out there. It was super naive. So yeah, I thought that she really had fasted for like decades. But you know, of course, that's impossible. Not to take any water or food or anything and survive and have nice plump cheeks and that whole thing. So whatever her secret was, it doesn't actually really tell you in the story. It just tells you that, you know, she did it for all these years, and you assume that her, you know, whoever she lived with helped her out. But it's a very interesting story. It talks about the reasons why women, and even some guys, felt like they needed to, you know, fast for attention, or maybe it was an eating disorder, or just like some weird things. This girl just started fasting one day and spent the rest of her life in bed, and gave up an engagement, and gave up when she was young. She was like, I don't know, 19 or something. So it's weird that she would do that. But it's an interesting read. Like I said, it's got several different elements in it. And there are other fasting girl stories out there, if that's something that you guys think you might want to look into. Actually, I think I might even have a video on that one. I'll look for it. If I do, I'll link it somewhere. Okay, number 6, Do-si-dos. All right, so when I was thinking about Do-si-dos, I was thinking they were like fake Oreos. I hate fake Oreos. I like Oreos, but like fake Oreos, they're just, I don't like them. But then I looked up Do-si-dos, and they're actually like a peanut butter Oreo. It's like they're like 2 peanut butter cookies with like peanut butter cream in the middle, peanut butter frosting or something in the middle. So that actually would probably be pretty good. So for Do-si-dos, it's either a book that you love that everyone else hates, or it's a book that you hate that everyone else loves. Okay, so I'm going to show you something that I think I've shown you before. I think I'm up to 9 now in my Wuthering Heights collection. This is my favorite book ever, by my favorite author ever. And so I collect every copy I can find. I've had people send them to me, and I don't know why, I just keep collecting them. They're just, you know, there's different covers. That one looks like Catherine and Emily Bronte would look. This, of course, is the beautiful one that by Chiltern that is out. Then you have this vintagey one from the 70s where, you know, you've got the whole scene up on the moors, right? With Kathy. This is an old version. Where does this one is from? I mean, it's not super old. Like there's a list of other works that this publisher published, and it's got like Steinbeck in there, right? So it's like at least 40s, 1940s. But anyway, it's just a fun little copy, and somebody sent this to me. But anyway, okay, I have my collection. So that's the book that I love that most people hate. And I think the reason why most people hate Wuthering Heights is because people think it's a love story. And so they're reading this and they're like, this is tragic. Oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's disgusting. This is horrible. Why are we reading this? And it's depressing, and it just never stops being depressing. It's just depressing, the end. And so people hate it because they are expecting it to turn out well, but it doesn't. Okay, spoilers, it just doesn't turn out well. For hardly anyone. At the very, very end, there is the slightest, tiniest glimmer of hope. But other than that, it's just a really yucky book all the way through. But in the twisted sort of way, that's the beauty of it. I love Wuthering Heights. That's my do-si-do. Okay, number 7, Thin Mints. I got those too. Fudge mint cookies. All right. My husband actually had some of these the other night, and he gave me one. So I do have a spoiler on this one because he let me try one. All right, so they look like this. This is like a mint flavored chocolate coating on a shortbread. But then you wonder, where is the mint? Is it in the shortbread or in the chocolate coating? I think it's in the chocolate coating. All right, so this one is one of your all-time favorite books. Okay, so I have so many all-time favorite books. So I found my longest favorite book. Like, this has been my favorite book the longest, okay? And this is Magic Elizabeth. The author of this is Norma Kassirer. And this book was given to me by my mother. Here we have all kinds of dedications. All right, so here's my mom, and she was, I don't know, a kid. Then she wrote it to me. Down here I've written it out to my daughter. And over here lists all the people that I read it with. Most of my, in fact, I think all my daughters have a copy of this because I've been finding them these cool vintage copies because it's just my favorite book. And then I think I drew this when I was like a kid. I think that's supposed to be my dad. But I have taped this thing up and tried to keep it together. I've read it so many times. I think I want to read it again. I might read through this again tonight. It's basically about this little girl who goes to stay with her aunt. And her aunt lives in this great big old Victorian house. And she doesn't know her aunt very well. And her aunt seems like an old witch because she's just old and bent over and sort of, you know, I guess, scary looking. And so, but she has to go stay with her because her parents, there's just a whole thing. Okay. So she's staying in this Victorian house and she discovers a mystery that has to do with that painting on the wall right there. And so, there's a magic mirror involved and just a really fun time travel-y sort of story. And I've just always loved it. It's just a special story to me. So yeah, I might read that again here pretty soon. So Magic Elizabeth. All right, number 8 is, oh, we're done. Tagalongs. All right, so tagalongs apparently are fudge and peanut butter like this one, okay? And so we are gonna try the DD version of tagalongs. And then I'm gonna tag some people in the description box. I like to look for new accounts or newer accounts or accounts that don't have very many followers because it's always nice to have people pay attention to you when you're trying to get started, right? So if you are in the description box, feel free to do this tag. If you are not, feel free to do this tag. I like to just do tags, whether or not I was tagged, because they're really fun. All right, this one is their version of a tag-along. It is a shortbread with peanut butter, all covered in chocolate. That's what it looks like inside. It's chocolate shortbread. So again, you can't really taste the chocolate, but you know, like that peanut butter Captain Crunch? Like if peanut butter Captain Crunch was a cookie, then this would be it. All right, so that was fun. I hope it was fun for you guys. Fun trying out all these cookies and talking about books. If you look down and find that you have not liked or subscribed to this channel, please do so. It helps my channel grow. It helps me be encouraged to keep making videos. And it helps get good content out there that inspires other people to eat good cookies and read good books. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.